blow your dick like a cello. What's up? And today I'm gonna do very, very, very anticipated list. Top 15 worst albums of 2017. I just finished filming top 15 worst songs, so I'm still drinking this. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to the dishonorable mentions. And also, just a little disclaimer. Again, I don't hate any of these artists. I don't personally hate. I just hate their music, is all. And I think the artists deserve happiness and love like all the other humans on Earth. So please don't hate me for this, because it's just my opinion. My opinion. Yeah, everyone's opinion matters, but it's not homicidally matter, you know? So, please don't actually kill me or hate me. Thank you. Please respect everyone, each other. Let's go. The dishonorable mentions are Sam Smith, The Thrill of It All. Arcade Fire, Everything Now. I love Arcade Fire's old albums, especially The Suburbs and Funeral, but their new album, disappointing. Disappointing. Imagine Dragons, Evolve. Very overblown, overdramatic. Yeah. Ed Sheeran, Divide. Gas, Narkopop. Which is basically nothing but just ambient sounds and nothing. Like, at least Gas's album Pop, like, you can hear, like, there's something going on in these, like, ambient music. But on Narkopop, it's nothing. And the obnoxious beats, the techno beats in the back, it's just so obnoxious. Why is it there? However, number 15, I would give it to Jaden Smith's SYRE. So, Jaden Smith, if you don't know him, a rapper. He's the same kid who starred in The Karate Kid, and he's also Will Smith's son. And his new album, SYRE, is really generic. The rap verses are really average. His flow, his lyrics, is just dumb and mindless. And the lyrics, they're kind of cringy, because he's always talking about the pain he's receiving, and he's always trying to be deep, and he's always like, I'm hurting inside, I'm in so much pain, but who fucking cares, man? You're Jaden Smith. And, you know, a lot of dumb and mediocre and underwhelming songs on the track list. And, in the full context, in the full picture, SYRE is nothing but a pretty bad album. I don't hate Jaden Smith. And, Jaden Smith, you have potential in you. You can rap. I mean, you can. You just need to write it better. You just need to put more mind and effort to it. You know, you just need to get more inspiration. And your dad is good. He's a good actor. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But SYRE, not too good. And I just hope that Jaden Smith would handle criticism in a better way. You know, Anthony Fantano disliked his album, and he basically scribbled out him in an Instagram story. And that's actually pretty funny, though. Number 14 would be Taylor Swift's Reputation. I did a review on that album, so you can also watch that review. But to sum it up, basically Taylor Swift tries to be edgy, tries to be dark and cool, but really just fails, because overall it's still very shallow and cringy. Like, she's 30-something years old. Why does she think that acting like this will yield her something? Like, what will she gain from it? Nothing. And she's always, on this album, she's always talking about drama, all the haters, like she's tearing herself apart. Oh my gosh, but in fact, it's not it. It's not it. And no. No. Number 13 would be Hopsin's No Shame. And it has a couple of, decent rap bangers on the album, but other than those, like, the whole album is pretty underwhelming, pretty trash, especially the song Happy Ending, which is basically the worst song of the year, not even exaggerating. Man, is it awful. And the album is just so cringy and mindless and fake deep, and it tries to be violent, it tries to be brutal, but it's not. And Hopsin really failed doing what he does on the album. Number 12 would be ASAP Mob's Cozy Tapes Volume 2, Too Cozy, which is your average, generic, your mediocre, your everyday mumble rap, trap infused, triple beat rap album that's made, written, created by a bunch of rappers that pretty much had the same mindset and no special characteristics whatsoever. It's that boring. It's really mundane and flat, and it really goes nowhere. A lot of really disappointing moments on the album because the quality just drops very significantly on the album. So, yeah. Number 11 is Prophets of Rage, self-titled. All the rage and anger on this album is actually not angry, nor is it enraging at all. In fact, it's really the opposite, because it's just bland, boring, awful. The whole album just feels like a demo album because it's really underwritten, it's ill written, it's ill complete, and it's also very mindless. There's nothing too special about it. It's quite awful. But the top 10 albums will piss you off. Will definitely piss you off. Not because you think they're good, because they're actually kind of bad. Starting the album off, we have Macklemore's Gemini. Again, I also reviewed that album on a mini albums review video, so I'm just gonna sum it up here. Basically, the entire album, Macklemore sounds like he's ripping off either himself or someone else. And the album is full of average and mediocre or even gross and forgettable pop tunes, and Macklemore's rapping over them. There's a couple of okay moments on the album, and the song Levitate is one of the better ones. But the whole album just feels so forgettable, so lame, so cringy. Like, what's the point? It's like Macklemore has nothing good to rap about on this album, and he's like avoiding all political statements and stuff, and why? Number 9 would be Eminem's Revival. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that a year ago I am a huge stan. Like, I loved Slim Shady LP, I love Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem Show is good. Recovery, a couple of songs on that album sounds good. Relapse, I actually kind of enjoy it, not as much as his other albums, but still, it's okay, it's not that bad. And Marshall Mathers LP2 isn't bad at all. It's not great, but it's actually not that bad. And then Eminem comes out with Revival. Gosh, it's so disappointing. Like, Eminem comes out with all these staccato, like, jumpy flow, which he's locked into for quite a while now, and it has all these trashy and dumb and and just terrible pop tunes, and the samples are so muddy, they're so ill sampled, they're so ill mixed. The whole album just feels like a really, really bad compilation album from a bunch of Eminem leftovers. Now, Eminem's flow is still, really nice. Like, although he's staccato, he's jumpy, he's shoddy, but, there's still a lot of moments on the album where you can hear that, wow, Eminem can surely rap, especially towards the end of the song Offended. But other than that, and Castle and Walk on Water, the whole album is just gross. It's nothing. The lyrics are dumb and cringy because of all the terrible puns. And all these samples and background music, they just seem totally useless when it's covered by Eminem's new style of flows and lyrics. The production is awful, the writing is terrible, and I really want to like this album, but I just don't. And I don't hate this album to its core, to its guts, but it's purely disappointing. Number 8 would be Maroon 5's Red Pill Blues. Why would they come up with that album? They just went from rock to pop to some very cliche, generic, average electronic pop, and not average. It's more like below average, because it's like they're ripping off all the electronic pop artists nowadays, and they're basically writing them over again, because this album just feels so recycled and bland. Just look at the album cover. It's the band Maroon 5 in Snapchat filters. Are you fucking kidding me? They're trying to appeal to like the young listeners and stuff, but it's really nothing. It's like they're trying to be Chainsmokers. Like, what? And it's just so gross. It's just so mindless. It's just so shallow. And I'm also very underwhelmed. Number 7 would be Wale's Shine. Yep, Wale's Shine, which is a total failure from Wale. They try to make some really fun, really optimistic pop rap tunes, but it also falls onto the ground flat, and the whole album feels like nothing actually happened. The whole album feels like nothing actually happened. It's just flat, it's just bland, it's really pointless but messy at the same time. Gosh, don't listen to this album. Number 6, Lil Uzi Vert, Luv Is Rage 2. So I'm just gonna sum it up. Luv Is Rage 2 is a total mess. It's really obnoxious and irritating with all these unnecessary trap electronic beats in the background. There's a couple moments in the album that's actually slightly acceptable, but other than that, the whole album feels like a bunch of mashed shit. That's what the album sounds like, because it's just so messy, it's just so spotty and shoddy, and it lacks creativity, because all the songs on the album sounds pretty much the same, with Lil Uzi Vert's same flows and the same bunch of annoying noises in the background, like they just won't shut up. Okay, the top five. Number 5 would be AJR's The Click. And the album just sounds like a bunch of really dumb kids' songs about falling in love, breaking apart, blah blah blah. In fact, This album basically sounds like a really terrible ripoff of Skrillex and Chainsmokers. Yes, I don't think this is as bad as Chainsmokers' latest album, but this album is still so mindless, so bland, so painful to listen to, and you just get irritated when you listen to it. Because the album is basically about... I don't even know what's it about. It's that pointless. Number 4 is Lil Yachty's Teenage Emotions, which is a huge flop for Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty, mumble rapper, you know him. Blow my dick like a cello. That's what he said. And the lyrics are already nonsensical. They are really dumb and stupid because no research is done before writing whatsoever. The whole album sounds really muddy and shoddy and cringy and shallow. However it sounds, no matter it sounds like dramatic or it sounds like poppy, it's still really fucking messy. Just trash songs over and over and over again, just thrown at your face. This is basically what it feels like when listening to this album. Number 3, the Chainsmokers. Memories do not open. You know, go watch my review. Go watch my full-length review. But basically, this album is the most shallow, the most cringy, the most annoying album you can ever get. Because everything on this album is basically going to parties, falling in love, sex and drugs. Wow, Snapchat, wow. And that's basically the album. The electronic instrumentals are obnoxious. The vocal works are just so bland and terrible. Like Drew Taggart sounds like he's sick on the album, basically. And there's not much good features on the album. Overall, it sounds very mindless, very effortless, and it tries to be like, we're so cool, we curse too, you know, we use Snapchat, wow. Hey, young listeners, come buy this album. Come and buy this album. But this album is nothing but Life is Easy. Number 2 is Chris Brown's Heartbreak on a Full Moon. 2.5 hours of Chris Brown. Imagine that. And really, don't listen to this album. Just don't, because it's nothing but just a bunch of really awfully written, really awfully underwritten, generic pop, hip-hop songs that just rips off everyone else, basically. And it's so dumb and pointless and meaningless and nonsensical, you just question your musical choices when you listen to this album. Why am I listening to this album? Number 1, here's a great one. XXXTentacion's 17. That's right, XXXTentacion, he just got arrested. I think he's in prison now. Well, anyway, his album simply sucks, because it's simply awful. It's pure trash. Like, all of the songs on the album just sounds like a demo song from X, and it's really underwritten. It's full of lyrics that are fake deep, and therefore it's cringy. And who starts an album off with an introduction where the artists essentially say, I'm warning you, this album is about my dark mind. Like, if you can't, like, stand this darkness, then don't listen to this album, because this album is gonna be so dark. Oh. the whole album, like like the album opens with an introduction that warns you that, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, the album is gonna be dark, it's gonna be terrifying, it's gonna rip me apart. And then you listen to the album expecting that it's gonna rip you apart. Instead, all you get is actually just a bunch of subpar, generic, and terribly written, boring rap songs that goes nowhere. And the more you listen to it, the more it gets worse. But if you're not listening to it, you won't remember it because it's so forgettable. The only thing you're gonna remember from XXXTentacion 17 is that it's fucking awful, and that all the songs on the album sounds like XXXTentacion is trying to be deep, like, stay away, I am so dark, I'm so messed up, wow, I'm mentally ill, oh my gosh, I'm so edgy, whoa. And the album is actually nothing but pure trash. And yeah. So this is my top 15 least favorite albums of 2017. Like if you like it, hate if you hate it, and subscribe if you want more.